Oh, there it goes. Hey, everybody, I'm Katrina, and I have with me Shay, and we are going to recap NXT this week. We had some Judgment Day, some people back in NXT, also our champion Carmelo Hayes, some ladies action, and we will be right back.
Daddy's home.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hey, everybody, we are back from a little intro. So we are recapping NXT this week. Again, I am Katrina, host and creator of NXT We Trust, and one of the hosts and writers of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And I have with me my, everybody's favorite duo, hello, but my twin, girly, Shayna. How are you today?
I'm good. You know why I'm good? Because Daddy's home.
I know you were super excited. We got some Finn on NXT. I enjoyed the segments that they were in. And so let's just jump right into it. And so in the very beginning, pretty much we were told last week that the Judgment Day would be here. They were challenged to come to NXT, and Finn did accept. So we knew Finn Balor was coming in, and some of the things he did say was like NXT was the house that he built. And I don't know, and I would say I don't know if he was trying to overshadow Damian Priest, and I say this not in a negative way, just because we do know there's a little bit discord happening between the two of them a little bit, and so I did feel like he had to make his presence known. The audience really, really reacted to them. It was a very loud reaction. Dom did get booed, and that's one thing he's definitely got is the heel. He has been booed consistently every time you have seen him on WWE TV, and so this was definitely a really good reaction. He didn't really speak as much because of that. With that being said, Carmelo and Trick did come, and they challenged Finn and Damian Priest to a match, which will happen later in the night. And I wasn't surprised again that they would open the show, since it was a big deal that they were coming back down there in the first place. But I do like that it seemed like the crowd, for the most part, did appreciate that they were there. And so it made me excited to see what they were going to give us for the main event, because it was a main event kind of match. So what were your thoughts on this segment?
I thought it was great that Finn decided to come back to his home and put people on notice. I don't understand why Carmelo had the audacity to call him out. He already beat you on Raw. That's just crazy to me. I don't know why you wanted him to beat on you again. We'll get into the main event, but again, like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what you thought. And Damian, Mr. Silk Press, don't think I forgot about you. I still don't trust him. I just feel like he's up to something. Finn is being very nice and very benevolent. Sorry. I know how to speak. I promise you. And you know what? He is just so graceful. That's all I can say. Very graceful. Jeffrey, you know what? Who is running SmackDown right now? Because they going through it. They going through it right now. They going through it.
They are.
I will never leave leather pants alone. I will never leave leather pants alone.
Damian definitely did have his silk press, which is better than that nonsense he had for the last couple of months. Because Damian Priest is cool and all, but I was getting a little annoyed with his hairstyle. I was just like, can we please let this braids, whatever was happening, can we let that go? Can we let that go? And so the fact that he clearly went to the Dominicans, we know a good Dominican silk press. We know he clearly went to the Dominicans, got that pressed all out. And I was like, okay, Damian, okay, I see it, getting a little press because you got the briefcase. I see it. I see the vision. But I do like Carmelo Hayes. He's my guy. But I also, as I've always said, when I think of Bullet Club, Finn Balor is always the guy. I don't really consider the other ones members. That's just personally, I just not a fan of everybody else. But Finn was my guy, and so it was cool, definitely, to see them pop. And I do think Judgment Day is like one of the stables that really is on it in WWE right now.
Joseph, I'm gonna keep telling you every week. Finn in desperate, he does. I don't understand. These words do not go together. If Damian wants to cash in on Melo, that's his business. He might have a better chance because it ain't happening with Seth nor Roman. So he might want to do that. He might want to.
Oh, this is great. Hey, Steve, how are you? Thank you for popping. Well, I'm okay for the most part. See, I'm sorry, just for a minute, because I like Jey Uso. I do. We're gonna stop these shenanigans. Roman is still kicking.
Roderick.
Hey, Roman is still doing tribal chief things, even if his family is falling all apart, because it is.
Yeah.
And it made me think of something. Apparently, The Rock was arguing with somebody online with Grayson.
Oh, Grayson, of course. Grayson always
The
bothering
comments were
somebody.
great. They was like, "So how you arguing with Grayson and your family is falling apart at the seams?" And I was like, "You know what? You're right. Cause Dwayne, bro, like how you stick that time to argue with Randy Grayson? Grayson shouldn't even be on your radar. Ignore Grayson Waller. He is not even important, and yet the whole family is falling apart." And you just argue with Grayson. Maybe make your way to WWE, Dwayne. Okay, just make your way to WWE and stop arguing with Grayson on Twitter. Because I was like, dead ass, the family is definitely falling apart, and here you doing shenanigans. But yes, I did listen. Katrina did not say that Roman does not manipulate people. He does, but I am also a Roman apologist. Okay, and I don't. I am a Roman apologist because if they would have just did what he asked, you know.
He said, "I am." Okay, Carmelo. She supports Roman's rights and his wrongs.
I'm gonna have to support the shenanigans because, like, if they would have just listened to him, maybe things wouldn't be going crazy right now. I'm just saying. But I will say he did stress out Jay. So he did. You know, Jay had a lot of headaches in the last year and a half. Like every time we saw him, he was stressed. That was anxiety. I understand that. But with that being said, Judgment Day being back in NXT was awesome. Just because again, I loved Finn in NXT. And that was my original introduction to him. I wound up seeing his New Japan stuff a little bit after that, just to kind of see, you know, what was going on beforehand. And I was like, okay, and hence why he's my favorite Bullet Club leader. And while AJ Styles was all right, and don't even get me started with the other ones. I don't even acknowledge them. I don't even acknowledge the other leaders of Bullet Club, but I do Finn. And so I'm always, you know, Finn always up there. You know, he gave us Demon, and Demon Finn is my favorite Finn. Just because I think it's off-putting, and I'm like, yes, do all that stuff, dude. But let's move in to the first matchup, which was Chase U versus Charlie Dempsey and Drew Garlick. And so we finally got to see some action, and it's been a little minute with Duke and Andre Chase. I thought the crowd was really, really behind Andre and his return, and I thought that was pretty cool. I thought this was a really fun match, honestly. I think the crowd's energy definitely made it better. You know, they had the little student section, and I always feel like having them there always makes Chase U's matches more energetic because of that. There was a moment where the section did do a crowd wave to support Andre Chase coming back. He also, you know, did Andre did he did the Chase U stomps, and then he went to the top for a crossbody, but and almost got a 3 count, but Drew did break up that what could have been, you know, the 3 count. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was also a moment where Thea did eliminate Drew from the action with a Kimura at ringside, and then this allowed Duke Hudson and Andre to hit a flatliner on Charlie to win. And so I again, in this regard, when you're thinking of like technicians, they might have won if this was meant to showcase their technician type stuff. But this is clearly just to get Riley for Andre Chase coming back. He's been gone for some time. And to have the crowd of Chase U there, and we haven't had them in the audience like that in months. So to have them there to kind of rally them up was really cool. And I thought they was just there to kind of let Andre get his moment. And I thought they did it well. We know that Drew and Charlie can wrestle, so it's not that. It's just, you do what you can do in the situation. And I thought it was really nice to see him back. I also did like that Thea seems more confident, and I don't know if this is because with her having the title shot, and yes, I do agree this is probably her way of getting back for them as well, but I do feel like she's a lot more confident now, and that's always good. So even though Duke has been very questionable, he did come through in this match, and I was like, okay, all right, Duke, can you get a little half a point of credit there. But what were your thoughts on this matchup between Andre, Duke, Charlie, and Drew?
I thought it was really fun.
Girl. What? I don't know what is okay.
Kick me out the room. Oh my god. So yeah, I thought it was really fun. It was nice seeing Thea get some back, get back, because they definitely did her dirty. We saw it. It's in 4K. I still don't like. I feel like Duke is playing the long game. Like, I really do not trust this big man. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, he keep doing stuff, and it's like maybe I should let go, but I don't know. I just don't know, Duke. It's the way that he does this. You know what it is that makes me not trust? Is when he does this. He's always doing this. And that just feels really sketchy to me. So I feel like he's up to something, and I feel like he's plotting. So it's hard for me to trust Duke. But I mean, he did that little hurricanrana. That was cute. That was cute. You ate that up. You really did. Yeah, I mean, Chase U is just one of the most fun things about NXT every week, honestly. And if they were to go a route of giving Thea another title shot, because I mean, I feel like she rightfully deserves it, because it was a lot of, as you say, shenanigans. And if she were to win, I'm at a point where they've built her up so much I wouldn't even be mad about it at this point. I don't know why. I just wouldn't. Like, I can't explain why I'm at this mentality, but one thing I will say about NXT is they're really good at building women and like making you really believe in them. They're really good with like their women talent, honestly.
I definitely have to agree with you there. I do like how they are with the women's division. Definitely, been a lot better with that. And so I definitely agree this was a fun match, and it was really, really good to see Andre back. I don't know. StreamYard was doing some shenanigans just now. I don't know what that was. And so moving along, we had our first ladies match of the night, which was Cora Jade versus Kelani Jordan, who was accompanied by Dana Brooke. And so this was I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like there's something missing, and it was unfortunate because I thought Kelani was really good last week, but it felt like she wasn't this week, and that kind of made me sad. And so I did think it started out kind of fine. It did, but it got really kind of sloppy to me. And they got their best stuff in, and I do think they did that, but for some reason, it just felt like Cora was too much for Kelani, which was a little bit weird because why Cora's been here for some time. She's not a veteran either. So it was kind of weird to kind of see it as if they were so leagues above each other. Like she was so much leagues above, and that threw me off only because I know that Cora Jade is good. I do think she needs to get better, and it made Kalani's win last week it just threw me off a little bit. But I also didn't think personally that either one of them really wanted to lead the match. And so that kind of threw me off as well, because again, if Cora Jade is the person that's supposed to be maybe coming for Tiffany's title, then she should also be okay with leading matches, or like she's the person in charge, I feel. And I didn't really get that. So that made me sad, I guess, because I'm like, how am I again supposed to take certain people seriously if this is what we're getting when there's not a title match? And so that kind of threw me off. And I know sometimes we don't always have our A game, but it's just a very weird thing. But I do think Kelani has time to still brush up. It just was kind of sad for me, just because she seemed so good last week, and then it just seemed a little bit off this week. But Cora wound up doing a DDT to win the matchup, and then afterwards, Cora did try to attack Kelani, but Dana Brooke did prevent that from happening. So, what were your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I do agree with a lot with what you were saying, and I think I noticed the difference is like I guess when she faced Tatum, her Tatum is still fairly as new as Kalani. I mean, she got a few more months in on her, but they're still kind of on that same wavelength, and I guess they train together in the PC and stuff. And whereas Cora, Cora is she's more experienced, and we've only seen a lot of Kalani on the like level up and stuff, so I guess it's easier for her to go against people who are kind of on that same wavelength, like the same, they're up and starting. Whereas Cora, she has a lot of reps and she's been around the block a few times. So yeah, I definitely saw the difference in that. But I don't think it was like too bad of a difference, and I think that she has a lot to offer. I think she's just adorable. She's so cute. Like her gear, her aura, everything. I'm really into it. I'm still trying to figure out NXT crowd's beef with Dana Brooke. Like, this goes deep. Like, I need to know. Like, where did this start? Because they really do not mess with her, and you still can hear the audible boos whenever she exists within 10 feet of the ring in NXT, and it's annoying. Stop it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where this goes. I mean, do you think it ends with them like having a match at Great American Bash? Like a rematch maybe?
Maybe. I just hope it's just, I don't know. Like I said, something just didn't feel right, and it made me sad. That's all.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess we'll see. That's the thing, is like people keep saying Roxanne needs to be on the main roster, but then she had her moments. I'm like, this isn't Roxanne, and I'm thinking of Roxanne before WWE, you know, or Roxy, just when she's rock, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is not how she and that threw me off as well. And so I'm like, you can't go to the main roster to do stuff like this, because the NXT crowd might be a little bit more, they have their moments, but they might be a little bit more accepting of certain things than a Raw or SmackDown audience would be. And so that's the thing. Um, I do think she's grown, but this match did not help her cause, honestly. Again, if I'm supposed to take her, I hate that these people are making Tiffany look great. And that's bothering me, because I still think that Tiffany needs work. I think she has a fantastic moonsault. I really do. But that cannot be the end all be all to your arsenal. You can't just be a good moonsault and then you suck on the mic and everything else. And so I don't know. It's like, it's a weird thing when you see like somebody is like, oh, and I'm like, oh, wait, okay. And now it's making it look real questionable. Like, I shouldn't be having to defend Tiffany in any capacity. I don't find Cora after this match. How can you go against Tiffany for a title match and this is what you're giving? Even with Kelani being new, usually you can tell when somebody is experienced as working with somebody new, because at least they would do what they need to do. And I didn't get that from Cora in this match. So hopefully it was just a bad week. Everybody gets a bad week. We all get that. And so I'm hoping that's what it is. But it did throw me off, because I'm like, Cora, you supposed to be going after titles and this is what we're doing? Like, okay, yes. As far as the crowd with Dana Brooke, I don't know. It seems a bit excessive, and like I get, like, she didn't really do anything. It's not like she's not a heel, so she didn't do anything to warrant heat, and yet she's getting all types of it's crazy. I don't know what she did. For whatever reason, there has been worse women in WWE. Just saying. If it's because
Right. And I'm thinking like it can't be like, oh, because we don't want anyone who's not in NXT, because it's like y'all gave Judgment Day a great reaction, so it can't be that.
They gave quite a few people great reactions that came back down to NXT, and so I don't know, but it's like she's listen. That was that week. That was that 1 week, because we're not going to do that. I do not. No, she should not be champion. I stand by that. I know you Tiffany fans are in delusion land, but she does not need to be champion. I stand by this However, as far as Dana, I don't know. She didn't do anything to anybody, and it can't be because people don't like how she wrestles, because she's better than quite a few people we've seen in WWE. Well, call a spade a spade. There has been plenty of women that you had to question how the hell they was in WWE. So I'm just saying it shouldn't be, and I will hate if she have no haters because I died. Okay, that's literally the level of where I'm at. Okay, she will always have a hater in Katrina. Just saying, it'll always be here.
If Tiffany has one hater, I'm that hater. I love that tweet on
Basically, it's
Twitter.
basically where we are. Like, if she has one, it is me. And if the haters is zeros because something happened to me. Okay, something happened to me, and this is why the hater is gone. I will always hate because but not wrestling like that. She said that's what I'm saying. It makes it really hard for me to make that case when you're wrestling like that. It's like you're supposed to be champion. If you want to be a champion, I need to see what are you doing. At least when freaking Mandy won the title, I didn't even like that she was a champion. At least you could tell that even with the shenanigans with Toxic Attraction, she was doing something where it made sense. Like, okay, I guess this is why you're a champion. And I hated her being champion in regards to I didn't understand how I was supposed to believe somebody who couldn't wrestle before was supposed to be champion. One of those, but we actually saw at least even with the shenanigans with Toxic Attraction that she had to do it, she did it. You know, when she had to do what she needed to do, it was done. And so that's what I'm saying. It just, I don't know. But yeah. Moving on to a couple of segments that happened. And so there was a segment where Gigi showed some old pictures of Kiana James with a similar style, I guess to her or whatever. And Kiana didn't seem too happy about that. There was also a segment with Mr. Stone being thanked by Ron Wagner for helping him be himself, I guess, for the first time. And then we also had a situation when Los Lotharios, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, tried to flirt with Valentina and Yulissa, but they didn't really seem interested. And then Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier decided to confront them before it went further. So what were your thoughts about those segments?
Gigi gagged her. I'm so sorry. Oh, Kiana, why you supposed to go over your Instagram and delete those? Like, girl, what happened? Why did you allow her to do that to you? Oh my gosh. The one photo, she was like, I was like, oh, she got you good, girl. She got you. And when she had her spraying the paint on the wall, I said, it's in 4K now. I can't do nothing for you, baby. It's in 4K. I liked it. I liked it. Gigi said, "I'm gonna get you, girl. I'm gonna drag you the good way, the real way." I'm excited to see how this keeps furthering. And the other thing with what was the third one? Oh my God, what did he say? I kind of lost it last week, didn't I? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, Vaughn. What type of stupid question is that? Kind of lost it last week, didn't I? Yeah, when you beat up that man for no reason like that, big body Javi, he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. He really didn't. Again, I need them. Like, all this stuff is great background stuff, but what we gonna do for the present? I need that present. I'm just saying, like, honestly. And what is wrong with Valentina and Yulissa? Honestly, I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I don't know. I'm turning away a few people. I don't know if I'm turning away. I don't know. Y'all better than me. Y'all are better than me, because I ain't turning that away.
I mean, we have to agree with you there. I don't know if I'm just like, no. I'm like, okay, get some coffee. I don't like coffee, but sure, like, as far as I would have to agree, I'm surprised Kiana being on point as she usually is. I am surprised she didn't get rid of those photos. If I feel like a photo, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I would delete quick. And while I never had anything problematic on like Twitter or anything, because I ain't crazy. Like, let's be a good person. And it shouldn't take you like, let's not be racist or whatever it is people have. They're gonna delete tweets. I never had to do any of that, but I definitely have deleted photos. I'm like, Katrina, what was you thinking? Let's delete that. So I'm a little surprised she wasn't on it, honestly. But Gigi again is doing all of this, and I'm like, are you a face or not? Because like, you're really falling into JC Jane territory. you're doing all this extra, you're now looking through photos and stuff. This sounds very heelish. And it's making me like, if you're supposed to be the face, this is why I was saying when she mentioned that nonsense about her mom being abusive. And I'm like, this is why I was already about that. Because I'm like, what was the goal? Like, what is the goal here that you sitting here doing all this? What are we getting from this? And so it now just feels like you're being very heelish, and it defeats everything you said about JC. Honestly, you can't say all that, and then you're doing very similar. It makes Kiana, if anything, like Kiana is the face in this, and she shouldn't be. And so I don't know, but we'll see. I guess what we're gonna get with this storyline, because I'm getting heel vibes from Gigi, honestly. But yeah, let's move into the next matchup, which was a number one contender match between Ilja Dragunov and Bron Breakker. And so I thought this was a fantastic match. I really, really, really did. I feel like Bron did warn Ilja Dragunov that he was going to break him. And he pretty much responded that he's the most intense man in NXT and was ready for anything. And so there was a moment where Bron Breakker blocked a running low forearm smash, kind of like getting his boots up, and then he did like a bulldog, but it missed just a little bit. There was a moment also that Ilja Dragunov did like a torpedo Moscow, and then he like was dived into like a spear, which I thought, and he barely managed to kind of get out of that. But I really truly enjoyed this matchup. This was definitely like very physical. They went to war in this. I thought that this was a strong build as far as them. But this, it was kind of sad that they couldn't main event, honestly, and not because you don't want Judgment Day to main event. I just felt like this was a really fantastic match that it could have main evented. I thought this was honestly a really fantastic, just hard hitting match. I thought that especially the last 5 minutes, it just was like, oh man, like my attention was so on it, and it truly looked like either person could have won this at a point because, you know, of how back and forth it was. I do think this again, they was probably some of the best stuff of NXT on Tuesday. But Ilja Dragunov did counter a spear and then did a high knee. He countered the spear with a high knee and then did his little torpedo Moscow. He did win this match. I do think it was the right call because Bron Breakker clearly is already done officially with the whole Carmelo Hayes story. There's really no need to put him back in that. He was already champion. He fought Carmelo multiple times. Now there's no need. And I do believe he's probably leaving soon. And I think this is why they've been giving him matches with people on the main roster. I believe this is why, to see what he can do. And so I don't think he's going to be in NXT too much longer. And so it was the correct person for it to be Ilja Dragunov, but absolutely fantastic match. What were your thoughts about this matchup?
No, it was so good, but I expected that. Like, I feel like Bron, especially recently, has been in a mode. Like, you cannot stop him. Like, he's in his mode. And I think the heel turn was like the best thing that could have happened for him. I think that he has grabbed it by the horns and he's like controlling it completely. So I'm just happy because they was really trying to play with him. They was really trying to play with Bron. So he had to let them know what was what. Can I just say, Dragunov, the goatee, I'm feeling it. It's giving tough. Like, it really is. Like, it's adding to the tough guy. I don't know what it is, but a goatee seems very tough to me. And so, yeah, like, I really was feeling the goatee. Like, yes. Is he going to beat Carmelo? I don't think so. So I'm just kind of like, where does he go after that? Because I feel like he is definitely one of those main guys in NXT. And it's like, once you lose, it's like you lose steam. Where do you go from here? You've already lost. You weren't able to, get the North American title. Now it's another fail because I really don't see him beating Carmelo. It's nothing against him. I just don't think it's the right time. And I think Carmelo just like, he's in his element right now. And it would be crazy to take the title off of him. It just feels like it would be crazy. So where does that leave Dragunov? But I think the match is going to be insane, though. Absolutely.
I'm going to have to agree. I mean, I like Carmelo, but I also like Ilja Dragunov. And so it's hard because I'm like, damn, like I felt away after he lost in the first place when the NXT UK kind of stopped and all that happened and he got injured and all that. I felt the way about all of that. And so it's like, damn. It's like, well, how do I go for this way? Who do I pick for this? Because I like them both. But I do agree. I do think that Bron going heel was the correct move because I felt like he's been on a hell of a tear since. I do appreciate Ilja Dragunov with his beard, and I feel like he's like a bit of a madman right now, and I like it. It's just like he's just like I don't give a shit about nothing and everything, and I'm loving it. Wherever he needs to get to, he needs to go to, and I'm liking it. And then just brings me to the point, I guess. NXT did replay some highlights from Damon Kemp versus Eddie Thrope, and then apparently he didn't particularly and then it was pretty much saying that Dijak didn't appreciate people calling Eddie the toughest man at NXT, and I don't know because you say that I'm thinking like, nah, I mean, just Ilja Dragunov by himself, man, is pretty damn tough. I don't know. He pretty crazy. I feel like I get what they're going, but I'm like, is he though? Because I'm like, Ilja Dragunov has been the last 4 weeks, he has been on one. Like, he literally do not care who he's like, he just don't care. I'm doing whatever I need to do. I'm just throwing myself in there. And I feel like I don't know if I would be about that. But otherwise, I do think it was again fantastic. We will see what happens if Carmelo loses, if it's gonna be a situation, because we'll see. I don't know. But again, I don't even know what will be next for Ilja Dragunov there. But before I go on Outbreak, what are your thoughts about Dijak's sad, I guess, upsetness about Eddie being called the toughest man in NXT?
I don't think Eddie is the toughest guy in NXT. I really do think it's Dragunov because the things that I've seen this man kick out of, it actually terrifies me. I'm like, this is the man we need on the front line. Like, what is you doing at NXT? Because you need to be protecting us or something. But Dijak, leave Eddie alone. Don't start. I like you, but leave my favorite DJ alone. Do not bother him because he will beat you up. I'm saying it. He will. And Roderick, why are you not sure about the match at Great American Bash? Elaborate. I want to know. But yeah, don't get beat up, Dijak.
Before we continue with the rest of NXT, here's some words from our lovely CEO, TK Trinidad.
Hey peeps, TK Trinidad here, boss lady of Women's Wrestling Talk. And I want to say thank you so much for watching because you've got millions of options. Plus, you don't have to worry about sharing your password to check us out. But while you're here, hopefully you know we have so many more shows to watch, like Turnbuckle Glam, Raw post-show, WoW post-show, AEW Dynamite post-show, Women's Wrestling Army post-show, NXT post-show, Impact Wrestling post-show, AEW Rampage and SmackDown Live post-show, On the Scroll, ROH post-show, WWT Live, plus all of our interviews with the hottest women's wrestlers in the game. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our website at www.talkpod.com and follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod, and make sure to spread the word. That means send this to the group chat. Yes, even the person with the green bubble. Thanks again so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
As TK said, we have a show almost every single day. Quite a few shows on multiple days. I believe Mondays we have multiple shows. We have multiple shows on Thursdays, I believe. And I think we do on Wednesday too, I believe. I feel like I'm getting that. But we have quite a few shows. So thank you guys, as always, for being supportive and hanging out with us every day, almost every week. We love you guys. And so next matchup was a matchup between Ivy Now versus Tiffany Stratton. And so I guess, have my things about this. So there was a section that happened. Ivy hit like a rolling side slam, and then she went for like a running low uppercut, something that Julius Creed did very often, but Tiffany kind of ruled out of safety. During this matchup, the Chase U student section did say that she did tap out, as she did, and she pretty much was like after the match saying pretty much kind of leave her alone. But like, ma'am, you did tap, so let's get that together. I thought Irie did fight pretty hard in this. And I guess they played to the fact that the Creed brothers was no longer there, so she seemed a bit distracted and she wasn't giving her best, I guess. Which allowed Irie did put her in a dragon sleeper, which I thought was really fantastically done. But Tiffany was able to knock her into the turnbuckle to escape, and then Tiffany wound up doing her rolling fireman's carry into her moonsault to win the match. And then I was just like, okay, I mean, I guess I do think this was a decent matchup. I do think it could have gotten a little bit more time to kind of see more what they can do. And while I do think that I get why Ivy was sad about the Creed brothers, I felt like a lot of times they got more benefit from her being there than she gotten from them in matches. I felt like she kind of fell to the back a little bit with the Creeds, and this is nothing against them. I think they're fantastic. I think they're a fantastic tag team, and I think they'll be well on the main roster. But she was a bit in their shadow. And so I feel like hopefully this will give her some time to really stand on her own and shine. And while we already know that we're probably going to get a rematch between Tiffany and Thea Hail, because that was pretty much alluded, especially with Duke and Andre kind of encouraging her to fight for a rematch to win the title back. I do think Ivy is somebody who can also be a competitor that can probably give her a problem with the titles concerned. Just because, she's somebody who can probably actually really, if she fights or wrestles not distracted, I think she can beat Tiffany. I actually think she wrestles better than Tiffany, honestly. But again, her character kind of lacked, and she did fall to the background because she was with Creeds, and now they're gone. And so this will allow her time to really shine. But I do think she can actually beat Tiffany. I think of the three of them, she's probably the better wrestler. But yes, otherwise decent match. Tiffany did retain the title. What rather not a title match, but Tiffany did win this matchup. So what were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I feel like it was a decent match. I feel like I'm a little annoyed because I thought once the Creed brothers, went, that Ivy would get back in the game. But you're telling me they was holding her back, but then when they go on, they still holding her back by the memory. And I'm like, okay, well, this is not gonna work for me. I'm gonna need Ivy to get back in the game, and I actually prefer Ivy more as a heel. Honestly, if I'm honest, like I really do. I feel like her baby face is too baby face, if that makes any sense. Like it actually is too much for me. I'd rather see her as a ruthless heel. When she would get somebody in the dragon sleeper, just ruthless. I need that Ivy. I need her back badly. Like, girl, I'm gonna need you to come back. Come on now. Yeah, and I mean it's obvious they was tearing Tiffany up in the audience. I mean, that girl was near tears the way it was like, you tapped out. They was eating her up. So it's very clear. Yeah, it's very clear we're gonna be probably seeing that rematch. And I just want to Roderick is here. I have a feeling Dragunov is gonna win because the reports of Carmelo Hayes going up the main roster after a Green Rick match. I mean, I didn't hear these reports, but if that's the truth, I don't know. But I mean, hey, if that is what it is, if anyone's going to take it off of him, Dragunov definitely would be that person. It would make the most sense. But hopefully that's not the case, because I think he still has a lot more to give for this, reign. It's still so in its early stages. So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, I will be okay with Dragunov, and take it, because again, I think he's fantastic. I always thought he's been fantastic this whole time. And so, whatever we get. And I do agree with you with Ivy. I wouldn't mind her being heel. I think because she has some moves in her arsenal that would be super badass if she's heel and really just be a bit ruthless. So we'll see. But otherwise, it was a decent match. Afterwards, though, the Schism did say that they will offer Ivory a spot in their family, and I'm just like, let's not, because we don't need her in another group. I really think that she needs to stand on her own. There was also a segment with Wesley interviewing with Mackenzie Mitchell and saying he felt, a bit. It seemed like he was uncertain about facing Mustafa at Great American Bash, and then Dominic challenged him for the NXT North American Championship next week. Which I'm just like, all right, bro, you're gonna lose because let's be real. They're not gonna have him lose the belt when he has to have this match with Mustafa Ali. So you're gonna lose. But okay, Dom, if that's what we're doing, more matches, I guess, for next week. Also, Baron Corbin apparently drove somewhere in the woods with some tiki torches to find his future, and I'm just like, didn't we already do this with you when you were trying to figure out where it was going? So you lose to Carmelo as you should have, and now you don't know where your career is. You don't know what's happening. Seek a therapist, because every time you lose, this should not be the thing. Is like, oh, well, what do I do now? Like, get it together, Baron. This I'm talking about. You boring and everything. You don't know what to do with yourself, and this is where we're at. So he clearly doesn't. He's boring. He's a boring wrestler. Okay, and then this is why you're always confused about what's happening when you lose something. Is now let's go to the woods. Why are we going to the woods? Okay, like I don't even understand how this is the thing you do to find your space, but I mean, I guess. But I'm just like, all right, Baron, just wasting more TV time with shenanigans. But what were your? I'm just saying, because like how every time something happened here, you go having to find yourself. You haven't learned when he was born, when he had his happy Corbin and he lost his money and he was like poor. You had all these things that he had to find himself. And then they had the thing with JBL. I don't even know how that was supposed to go with that, because they completely just forgot. And then he didn't know where he was going. He comes back to NXT saying he's gonna do something. All that smack he talked about what he gonna do for NXT, and now you in the woods contemplating. Clearly, you saw the pair of shenanigans, and so I'm just like, you know what? Now you're in the woods trying to kumbaya your way into what's gonna happen, and I'm just like, get it together, because now we don't care. Like, you do this on your own time. I don't need to see you in the woods. Personally, I don't need this information. That's information you could have shared with you and your buddies. So I'm like, oh yeah, guy, hear me at the weekend. I'm having a time in the woods. Get my mind right. Good for you. I don't need to know that though. I don't care. And so I'm just like, I mean, I guess this is what we're doing. But what were your thoughts on those segments?
So I'm sorry, trying to laugh. So are we really like calling him, is like Dirty Dom like his new thing now? Is it no more Prison Dom or Dom? It's I can see why, because honestly, sometimes if you put his name in on Google, like they gotta find another way. Because Dom is scary sometimes. I guess he just wanted to like he's just like taking side missions. Because what is your reason for just randomly you want to have a match with Wesley? Why? And then Rhea, they was tearing her up on Twitter. They said, I know. They was like, not you talking about pathetic champions. Not you talking about you ain't defending the title. They was tearing her up. I said, leave her. Get behind me, Rhea. That's what I said.
I'm a Rhea apologist as well, because
yes, guys, so get behind me.
Y'all see Rhea like, hello. If I like even swung that way, sis, I don't, but I can see it. I can see it.
She eat up a look. She eat up a look every time, bare face or not. That's where it's okay. And in terms of Baron, I don't know what is going on, why he was in the woods. I'm surprised he didn't run into Lyra Valkyria, because she always running through the woods. So that was shocking to me. That was the most shocking thing about the whole thing. Hopefully he can figure out what's going on with himself. I don't know what's going to be the end result. I don't know what type of character, because I feel like we've been to the drawing board a few times. So I don't know. They they really treating HBK like the reviver, like, fix this. They just get here, fix this. I'm like, oh my God, can you let him? He has enough to do. He has enough to do.
I don't, and yeah, he was in the dark, and I'm like, see, that's what, just sometimes white people do some things. That was white people stuff. Because why are you in the woods and it's dark? Like, you could run into a deer. I don't know, like, just, and like he said, all this about bringing the lone wolf. He come back with the lone wolf theme to do nothing. We don't need. I need people to understand we are okay with him not being on TV. Like, I'm not sitting here like, God damn it, where is Baron Corbin on my TV. I don't care. You know, I don't know. I'm tired. Like, I was perfectly fine when he was not on TV. I was fine. I was perfectly fine with that. And now I'm just like, now you're in NXT taking up time that nobody cares if you're sad. Like I said, go find it. You know, they have those text therapy numbers. You could just text a therapist and maybe they'll respond to you. Talk to somebody. But I don't care. I really don't care. And so I'm just like, I guess. As far as what happened to Dom in prison, nothing. I'm gonna need you guys to stop these shenanigans because nothing. He didn't even go to prison. He went to like jail. He went to overnight jail where they put you when you drink and drive, and they have somebody pick you up in the morning and they want you to sleep it off. And they have you sleep it off in the jail cell and get out in the morning. He was out within like what 2 hours. He didn't do prison. He don't know what hard time is. Okay, we gotta stop these shenanigans. Every time somebody says prison, I'm like, what prison was he in? I can't do prison, and I probably could do more than Dom can do. So I'm just saying, let's stop these shenanigans. I feel like if he was really in prison, and he's, you know, cute in the face, he got the hair and everything, he would be somebody's papachulo. You gotta stop these shenanigans.
They put that man in the overnight drunk take, and now he's just taking.
Actually, he's in bookings, okay? He was in bookings for like 2 hours or something, and he's off. He didn't do no prison time. You gotta stop these shenanigans, okay? Like, prison Dom is not gonna show anything but how to cry about his dad being unfair. He's gonna tell you how to do a tantrum. That's what Dom's gonna give us. Oh, my dad did this, boo-hoo. This is what Dom's gonna give us. He's not gonna give anything but that, okay? And I don't even get me started with that fake don't even get me started with that machine.
That was the ones you get at that little machine when you put a quarter in it.
A little machine, you put the quarter in and flippity flip. There you go. There's a little tiger tattoo that you give him like the 90s. That's what he was doing. We don't play these kind of games, okay? I just know. No. As far as him being a lone wolf in the woods, you don't need to go to the woods for that. Just get it together and do what you need to do. We don't need to see your session to the woods. We don't care about that. You're gonna be the lone wolf, do that. But we don't need to see the process. We do not care. He is boring. We do not care. I need that to be underlined. Don't care at all. But yes, this is what they've given us. I don't know. Shawn Michaels, I'm just like, he got to tell people no. He got to put his foot down and be like, you know what? I don't need to deal with this week. Because why they get him do all kind of shenanigans just because. So, next matchup, we had the fate of Tony D'Angelo with Shannon Stacks Lorenzo versus Joe Coffey. And so, this was a decent match. Tony didn't seem too confident in Stacks when Mackenzie Mitchell went to prison to talk to him. My thing was, I don't know how she had time to go to the prison to talk to him because, like, how far is prison? That you're doing interviews with Wesley and then you got time to also then go to prison, go through whatever you need to get through, and then talk to Tony. We're going to stop these shenanigans. How am I supposed to believe that you talked to him in jail and you had time to get through all of that and then security and then bring your camera team? Then you're going to get approved for interviews. I'm just saying, we're gonna play this game. Let's play it correctly. So he said he was pretty much not confident, which I was like, well, damn, Tony, you don't appreciate your guy. And so I was like, okay. And so I do think Joe did dominate this match for the most part. But I do think Stacks was a bit motivated. I do think, you know, I thought there was a lot of twists and turns in this matches. And then I do think that there was parts that could have been a little bit cleaner, but it was pretty much decent. So there was a moment where Joe hit like all the best for the bells, but then Stacks was able to kick out of that. And, you know, he was kind of yelling for backing out of the deal, I guess. And I'm guessing this is implying to what we found out about some of the, you know, when it was pretty much saying that Tony Stacks, like, he didn't betray Tony and everything. There was also a moment where Tony called in to the arena to make fun of Gallus for thinking they can get one up on the family, but he was talking a bunch of nonsense, and so I really didn't understand that. He also apparently, Bronco Lima and Lucian kind of got in Mark's and Wolfgang's face at ringside, and I'm guessing this is because we're getting, you know, this was going to be the debut, and I'm guessing hopefully we get some more from them. But Stacks wind up using the crowbar behind the referee's back. He did a running knee drop and he defeated Joe. And he actually pretended to be hit by the crowbar, which had the NXT Tag Champions thrown out. With the referee decided to throw them out, which I'm like, bro, get it together. But Stacks did win and earn Tony's freedom, which also allowed them to have the NXT Tag Team Championship match that was promised. And so while I do think Joe clearly was the better wrestler in this, I do think Tony came in the clutch like he said he would for family. So what were your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, I feel like it was a little slow in the beginning, and then once Tony got on the phone, I don't know why they put him on speakerphone, and what jail is he at that he is allowed all these privileges to be on speakerphone on the live, tape show. Like, I just feel like this is crazy, but it's wrestling, so everything's always crazy in wrestling. It makes zero sense because it's not supposed to make sense. But why was he on the phone? Get him. I'm like, excuse you. Get off the line. And I still don't trust Stacks, whatever. I just feel like it was a whole lot you had to do to get to this. Because you was sitting next to this man that you fighting real comfy. It was too comfy for me. If I'm Tony, I'm just keeping that in my mind. You want to say he tricked him? I don't know. I'm still looking at you, Stacks. I got both my eyes on you. I don't trust. But you know what? I'm happy Tony is back. We missed him. He was behind that plexiglass for too long. We need him out. Get him his fedora.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of jail he's in either. Because I'm like, all right, guys. Like, he was obviously in more jail time than Dom had. Because Dom was there for like an hour. We go stop the games. He literally had visits, phone calls. My thing is, I would love to know what kind of jail he was in. That not only did he get an interview, but he also got time to make an outside call. What kind of rules is this? What kind of rules are these? What kind of prison rules is this? I was like, what?
Right.
What is, how is this working? Like, okay, I mean, I guess, but yes, he will be out of jail. Finally, at least he had an actual term, unlike somebody, or at least he was in there for more than an hour. And so I guess we'll see. But I can definitely see if Tony was just really playing like a double cross, where it's like he seems like it, but then something happens later on when Tony's back. I guess we'll see. But otherwise, it was a decent match. It was entertaining enough. And I'm guessing now that they have this title match coming up, they'll be done with all of this once they have the match. Unless, like, what else can you do after this? Now I feel. So the last match up, which was the main event, was Carmelo and Trick versus Judgment Day. So this was a solid match. I do think Carmelo and Trick looked really good as a tag team, probably one of the best they've they've looked, and not that they've looked bad before, but I really think that they really did. Finn did send Carmelo into Turnbuckle with a drop kick, and then went for the coup de grace, but Carmelo was able to duck and hit a sling blade, which I thought was really good. I do think there were moments that Finn and Damian didn't look as much on it, but then they did. And it took them a little bit of time to kind of get that chemistry, which was it was weird for me because they've been together for some time, and it's like, how are you guys kind of struggling to beginning to get it together as a unit? And I don't know if it was because, again, they've been going through that little stuff recently, and that was why. But I felt like something just in the beginning was a little bit off, but they got it together, and I do think it helped that they want to get to tag team that they really haven't wrestled before. I thought that was good. I thought that there was a moment, apparently. Damian tried to use his Money in the Bank briefcase against Carmelo, but Ilja Dragunov did come in to save Carmelo, which allowed Carmelo to wind up knocking him out instead. And then Damian did his South of Heaven, and then Finn did his coup de grace to pin Carmelo, and they wound up winning the match. I do think there was some miscommunication between Carmelo and Ilja Dragunov, because he did protect him, And I guess this made, in a way, kind of protected Carmelo's loss, because I get, while it made no sense for Judgment Day to lose after coming all the way down here, and he brought the whole squad down here, and we already know Dom is losing next week. And so there was no need to have them lose this. It made sense to have Carmelo lose, but I do think having Ilja Dragunov kind of come in, and it kind of was a bit confusion, made the loss a little bit better. It's unfortunate that he had to lose, but I do feel like it could also be a situation that maybe him and Finn will do a solo match at some point, since it's between, and then maybe this will be another moment for him to kind of shine like he did with Seth. Was him and Seth, or was I thinking about Bron and Seth? Well, whoever Carmelo, Corbin, Baron Corbin, he had his matchup with him. Maybe this would allow for him to have a match with Finn, and I do think they would do well. If they do wrestle. I didn't say it was a smart way to do it. I'm just saying, in this regard, having Ilja Dragunov come in means he didn't take the loss necessarily cleanly, because there was a bit of an issue with Ilja Dragunov being there. And so it protects him a little bit. I didn't think Judgment Day was going to lose it. It makes no sense to have them all come down here to lose. I just don't feel like it made sense for them to lose this, to have them come down. They all accepted the challenge. They came in as a unit. It made no sense to have them lose. But I feel like having Ilja Dragunov be there and that miscommunication happened and made Carmelo look like he was distracted to lose. And so it wasn't as bad as him just losing completely cleanly. I do think Rhea should focus on her title, and I love Rhea Ripley. That's my girl. I wanted her to win the title, but I do feel like she's more involved in Judgment Day stuff. And unfortunately, this sucks when you have the women so good at their stable that they kind of lose their solo stuff in the process. But otherwise, I do think this was a fantastic way to end it. Again, it was obvious that Carmelo and Isla was not really happy with each other. And they did mention during the matchup that we're gonna get Kiana versus Gigi, and then Dragon and Nathan versus Los Lutheros all next week. But obviously this was said during the matchup, and so they were hyping up most of the match. But I do think it was a good match. I do think we're probably gonna get Finn and Carmelo at some point, honestly. But otherwise, that's the way NXT ended. So, what were your thoughts on this final match?
I thought it ended exactly how it was supposed to. Finn on top. Can I just say they ate this photo up? Like, this is one of their best Judgment Day photos. Like, this photo is great. I feel like leather pants has really caused so much dissension within the group. Like, they used to be like this, like they had the same brain. But now this man, he went off script. And now it's not giving same brain. Like, it isn't. And it's definitely Leather Pants' fault. And I just wish that Leather Pants had taken 2 seconds to think, should I come out with this briefcase and stand on the sidelines of Finn's match? Or should I stay in the back and be happy I won something? And then be happy for my friend when they win, and then come back and we can celebrate. That's all I'm saying. Mr. Leatherpants definitely messed everything up. Rhea, I do agree. She's getting diamond mined right now. She needs to focus on herself, because she's getting the diamond mine special. Very much. Very much. And we don't want that for mommy. We want the best for mommy. In terms of Carmelo, listen, Joseph, you said it's not like Finn called Carmelo out. Both times Carmelo came to Finn's front door. Finn was minding his business, beating up on Seth, as he should, because he's owed that much. Carmelo got involved. Nobody asked for that. Second time, Carmelo asked him to come, so he came and he beat on him. Like I don't like Finn be minding his business. That's the thing about Finn. A lot of times he just be minding his business and people bother him. And they wonder what happened when their guts hurt after he stomped on them. Now they like, my gut hurt. I'm confused. Why are you confused? Because you bothering him. He was minding his business. That's all I gotta say. And Dragunov, why was you out there as well? Like, I feel like, again, stay in the back, Mr. Goatee. Like, I like you, Dragunov, but you definitely could have stayed in the back. Don't get involved in Finn's business. Don't do that. Just mind yours. And Leather Pants, stop. Just stop. I need Leather Pants to stop. Actually, I still want him to give the briefcase up, this Monday, give the briefcase to Finn to make up for all you've done, Leather Pants. I've had it.
Oh, the fact that you call him Leather Pants is great. But yes, that is how NXT ended, and so we're gonna obviously have some more of them next week because Dom will be there, losing, since clearly they're not gonna have him win when they have that whole matchup with Mustafa and Wesley. So he's gonna lose and talk about how prison made him hardcore, blah blah blah. But that is the end of NXT. It was a solid NXT this week. Shay, tell the public where they can find you and what you got going on.
Jeffrey! Okay, I'm back. That made me laugh, Jeffrey. You know what? I'm gonna give you your 10s for that. You can catch me at Shay Sawyer _ on most platforms. Again, you can catch me at Shay Sawyer was here on Threads. If you got Threads, come find me. Seriously. You can catch me at Shay Sawyer, just Shay Sawyer on Twitch. I'm trying to stream more again. I streamed like 3 times this week. I'm so proud of myself. And yeah, you can catch me Monday. I have a new episode for Big Pop Theory Podcast. Catch that. It's on Apple and on Spotify. See, we got the Apple back. We back on track. And then you can catch me right back here. We actually have a new show for Women's Wrestling Army. Right now, we don't have new shows because, right now they're all busy. It's a lot going on. There's a lot of wrestling, so we haven't gotten new episodes. So we have the Rising Sun show. We'll be going over a lot of, it's very different because I don't go over a lot of Stardom and stuff. So it's different for me. And they're starting a tournament and we're going to be doing with Lyric and Aisha. And I think it's going to be really cool. So you guys definitely want to tune in for that. It'll be at 5 p.m. the same timing for Women's Wrestling Army until we get some new episodes. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to hop in one day because I like me some Stardom. I have to jump in. But as for me, you can find me on most social media platforms and Cat We Trust, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. The E is a 3. I know I told you guys I was gonna try to stream. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I'm gonna be honest. I just have no time. But I will have a new interview with Women's Wrestling Talk dropping tomorrow with Ariel Sky of WoW Superheroes. And so that was super awesome since I know her from other stuff. It was kind of cool to kind of interview her and this other character. And that was pretty cool. I will have on my channel an interview with Corey Constantine, who I did interview once before, and then he did a Dark Knight special on my channel, which he kind of talked about the whole series of the Dark Knight, which is really awesome. And so he came back on because he wants to come back. I was like, of course, dude, homie. And if you want to know who that is, that segment on where Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, and there was a bunch of guys kind of talking shit to Brock. He is one of the guys on Monday Night Raw who was used for that segment. And so we do talk about his experience working with Brock and Cody in that interview, so that will drop tomorrow as well. I do have to do quite a few reviews because I did watch Insidious, the Red Door Insidious 5, and I am a big Insidious fan, so I have my thoughts on that. And so I will be dropping that review in a couple of days as well as giving some shows I did finish, and I will be reviewing that. So that's all on my In-Cat We Trust channel. Catch me on Mondays doing WoW. Obviously, NXT with Shay on Thursdays, and I might just have to hop in for the Stardom show because I do, again, love me some Stardom. But as always, guys, follow, if you doesn't, but I feel like you guys do, follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms. Again, we love you guys and appreciate you guys for always hanging out with us, always making NXT such a good time. So fun with your comments and thoughtful comments, even if the jokes, and you guys try to get us riled up. As for Dark Side of the Ring, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. We will be pushing it back about 2 weeks. So we're going to have like 3 episodes one time. We're going to make it work. Only because the next Thursday, I'm doing a mom duty. I will be at a concert with my child. And we cannot do it today. Stuff happens. And so always self-care first. But I will be at a concert with my child on next Thursday. I promised her this. And so I got to be a mom and sit there and grin and beer some raggedy concert that I'm just like, what is this? But here we are. And so that's where I will be. So we will be doing the next 3 Dark Side of the Rings the following week in 2 weeks, but I will post all that social media, so check that out. Again, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys for everything as always, and for always making NXT such a good time. Until next time, guys, we will catch you later. Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.